First Lady Melania Trump was in New York City for previously scheduled meetings when the attack happened. She posted to Twitter that her heart breaks for the city. President Trump also reacted through Twitter and the White House press office. In his official statement, the president offered his thoughts and prayers to the victims and their families. He pledged his administration's full support to the NYPD through a joint investigation with the FBI. He also thanked the first responders. On Twitter, he initially posted, quote, "In NYC looks like another attack by a very sick and deranged person. Law enforcement is following this closely, not in the USA." He also said, quote, "We must not allow ISIS to return or enter our country after defeating them in the Middle East and elsewhere. Enough." Then 3 hours later, around 9:30 last night, came this tweet, quote, "I've just ordered Homeland Security to step up our already extreme vetting program. Being politically correct is fine, but not for this." Joe?
Yeah, Julie Pace, of course, here's another example of another attack that Donald Trump tries to fit in his, what he calls his extreme vetting program that could stop an attack. Now he's president. He's been president for, 9-10 months. This happened anyway because this will happen on any president's watch. If somebody has a truck in a city of 8 million people and decides to run up sidewalks. So talk about this suspect came here 7 years ago, right? And obviously, regardless of what vetting process Donald Trump had the way, this would not have stopped this particular attacker, would it?
This is one of the realities that we're dealing with right now, is that you can put in so-called extreme vetting, as the president says. You can ban entry from certain countries for 6 months, a year, but you're never going to be able to put in all of the safeguards that would prevent someone who could pass all of those screens, comes to the U.S., is either radicalized here, inspired here, is acting completely on their own. And so we see the president using extreme vetting, trying to take this tough stand after these attacks. But one of the things that he has to grapple with, like President Obama had to grapple with, is there may not be anything you can do to prevent what we saw last night. And that's a really difficult thing for a president to say to the country, is that we will be vigilant, we will put all the safeguards in place, but this, to some extent, is a reality that we have to deal with as Americans.
Well, you remember, Mika, this last summer when we were in London right after the spate of attacks there. We looked at everywhere we went, looked at the thousands and thousands of tourists of people right up to, busy roads, and both said to each other, there's only so much that London can do. There's only so much that Britain can do. There's only so much that New York can do. All it takes is a madman or an idiot who decides he or she wants to go up on a sidewalk. So Donald Trump, it's very interesting. Donald Trump is very critical of the mayor of London and did not offer condolences when London needed them during their recent spate of attacks. I thought it very interesting that immediately after the attacks yesterday, the mayor of London sent his best wishes from the entire city to the people of New York. Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.